Hello everybody who's joined us, and welcome. My name's Tony Atherton, and I have with me
Rasmus Leissner. Hello.
and it's as though we'd orchestrated that and coordinated it, but we hadn't. Welcome everybody. Really pleased to be here as part of the Safe Steps 24 team. I have to say I'm incredibly excited about this program. It's been a couple of years in the making from my point of view, working with some wonderful, very talented folks. And we just thought we'd spend a little bit of time following up on Klaus and Jennet. And there she is. Jennet, there you are. Hello to you. How are you?
Hey, how good. I'm really sorry.
No problem at all.
Happy I'm here. I don't know what's happening with my screen, with my camera, but I hope you can see me.
Yeah,
we can see you in that wonderful virtual background. So yes, we can see you just fine.
Fantastic. So I'm so happy. I made it actually, and I'm so happy to see Tony and Rasmus. Obviously, Tony, you can take over from me. I think we have a very good reason tonight to meet together. So if you could just introduce what we're doing, and I think you can take the lead from me right now, so I can have 2 minutes of breathing.
Not a problem, Jennet. And actually, that's exactly what I was saying. Is that I'm really excited about this Safe Steps 24 program. For me, it's been something like 2 or 3 years of in the making of a real desire to do something like this, because I truly don't believe it's been done anywhere else before, and the work that we've done in the past that's really made a difference. So I'm really excited about that. But we'll get into a little bit of that in a few minutes. It's probably worth a couple of introductions. So Jennet, I know that anybody that had been on a previous call with yourself and with Klaus will have already got to know who you two are. But let's find out a little bit more about Rasmus, and even less about me. But Rasmus, what brought you to this moment, this big moment today of being on our program and being on this live session?
Well, it's absolutely amazing. I'm looking forward to. I think our next class will be in May 25. So I'm definitely excited for that. So I'm Rasmus Leissner. I'm a mechanical engineer from Germany. But let me start off a little bit different by basically asking you, Tony. You've worked with a lot of large and big companies. Have you ever seen, or have you ever been in the situation where you hit the boundary while you wanted to improve? At some point, there's nothing that you can do. Basically, you tried everything, but your KPIs aren't improving. Have you ever faced something like that?
Do you know what? Yes. Many times. I think many people find this in their career, that you start out with great intentions and with a great desire to do something. You want to change the world. Most people want to make a difference. Very few people in the world come to work to do a bad job. And we try, all our new things. We get out all our new shiny tools. We even go to the strategies and the points of stuff that's always tried and tested, that's worked for us in the past, and we try it and we get some success, and we get some more success, and we learn some more stuff, we get some more knowledge, we get some more experience, and then we try again, and at some point during that process, we try everything. We get to a point and everything, the new tools, the old knowledge and experience doesn't seem to work anymore. And that's something that when you and I met, I think, Rasmus.
Well, absolutely. And that's exactly what General Electric was hiring me for. So I worked as a manager for the project called Vision Safe. And the aim was to solve exactly that problem. So my team and I, and Tony, you've been part of it, we launched this program called Vision Safe, and we had great success. Basically, we improved the incident and accident rates by almost 40% in just half a year. And while in the same time, we decreased cost and we lowered the downtimes. So we used lean techniques, we used PDR, we used the 70-20-10 model, something called viral change, and many more things that we definitely can talk about today. But basically, I do this because it matters. It matters to me because this is not about rules or compliance. It's basically focusing on people and people's behavior. And
Can you tell more about this, Rasmus and Tony? I'm really curious. I've heard we talked about this, but I think the audience, they are really keen to know more about this program. What exactly? Because this is impressive, the numbers you're actually mentioning.
Well, absolutely. So what we did is we went out, we started with a survey, and actually we asked the people on the field that are basically affected by all the risks that we have to go through. We asked them, what's annoying you? What's going wrong? But with the ask to come up with an alternative. Basically, yeah, we can turn something off, but what can we do instead? And the feedback that was very drastic. I mean, it was painful for management. It was honest. It was very transparent, and well, but in the end, we felt like that wasn't enough. I mean, that's when I seeked out for support, and I got together with Tony, because you know I'm a technical guy. I have quite a lot of technical knowledge. I'm a lean person. I saw what lean can do, and the quick changes that we can do with this. But I hit exactly that plateau that I was mentioning earlier, and I was like, we tried basically everything, but what can we do from here? And then, yeah, basically I got Tony on board, and we developed this program. And what we did differently, Tony, I'll get you in there in a second, was basically we went out there like some other people have done to the people in the field, but we actually sat down, we listened, we had breakfast with them, and suddenly they realized we're not going away so fast. And I think we spent more than a week per site. I don't know how many months we have traveled across the US. And what we did is we listened, and we listened from empty. We asked open questions, but what we also did is we went out there. We was like, yeah, show me the shop floor. First question, I mean, Tony, you probably remember that was, yeah, guys, you need safety boots. Do you have safety boots? And they're like, yeah, of course we have safety boots. And but they were used to it. But there was one time, I mean, it was a wind farm. It was wind technicians that were out there, where they packed all their stuff. And it's like, this is the time where we usually go out. And it's like, yeah, take us with us. It's like, no, you need a harness. And it's like, yeah, here's our harness. It's like, oh, shoot. So, but you need permissions. You need GWO training, which is basically working at heights, managing the risk, emergency escape training. It's like, yeah, we have here all the permits. Let's go. And that's when we actually cracked the code. We got together with them in the truck. We went out there in the field. We had discussions about everything. It wasn't uniquely about EHS. It was really about people. And I'll pass it to you, Tony. You probably have something to say to that as well. But
yeah, absolutely, Rasmus. It just reminds me of climbing up, 85-meter turbines. I'm not sure I could do that anymore at the moment. But what it does come back to is exactly what you said, people. I've spent the last 25 years working with people, working on culture, working on operational performance, whether in low-risk industries or in this case, high-risk industries, where, people's decisions matter. They don't just matter to the bottom line. They matter because it's people's lives. It's about serious instances, and what we did was quite remarkable. You're quite right. We went out there and we listened, but what we did, and I think this is where it steps right into the Safe Steps program, is we shifted mindset, we shifted behaviors, and we shifted attitudes. Not through policies and procedures, not just through a typical cascade, but through a series of methodologies and a journey that people went on. That they chose to do something different, not because they were told to. We can do that. Any organization can do that. But because leaders, managers, team leaders, anybody at any level of the organization can be a leader. And they took it upon themselves to make the change, to do something different, to change the way that we see about the predictable and repeatable jobs that we all do. They become boring. Boring introduces complacency. Complacency introduces risk. Risk introduces the inevitable. And And what we did was start to roll things back so people didn't see things as boring. People didn't see things as complacent, and chose to use a method of communication, a method of leadership, create a culture that allowed them to use the tools, the processes and policies to make a change. And that small changes times many created the transformation.
Yeah.
And for me, that's what it really comes down to. We talk about things like, you know, terminology like PDR. We talk about terminology like, you know, policies, processes, what it might be. But actually, helping leaders, helping teams understand the change that they need to go through. You know, Jennet, Klaus, you talked about this last week, 66 days of change for any individual to create the muscle memory to allow them to just choose to do something. Not in the you know, I get it intellectually, I get it in the right thing, but today we'll do this differently. Their muscle memory is that we'll know this is what we'll do. We'll do an effective pre-job brief. We'll review the job afterwards. Not because, you know, Rasmus, Tony, Klaus, or anybody else in leadership from GE at the time told us to do that, because we had the muscle memory to do the right thing. And the tasks and the nature of the journey that we took them on was the thing that shifted behavior, shifted mindset, and shifted attitude, which creates different actions.
That sounds incredible, actually. I was just listening. I remember our meeting in Hamburg in Germany, and that was just a, you know, that's a chemistry between all of us, because all of us were coming from different backgrounds. So Rasmus, for instance, he's very technical. Tony, when I talk to you, it's all about people, people, people. So that's about humanity. So coming back to our masterclass, what I understand that we're going to bring our experience. We also got Andreas, we've got Jan, we've got Klaus. I think this is the right moment to talk why this masterclass is different, because there are so many classes, workshop, education, academia, training, leadership courses, but it's only about, you know, sometimes it's about PowerPoint, sometimes it's about exercises. What's different about our masterclass?
Well, I'll take this, and I'm sure you'll add in, Rasmus. There are a number of different reasons, Jennet, and this is why I'm really passionate about it. Is you could go on any program, you can go on any training, you know, and at worst case scenario, you sit there and you listen and you watch, you know, some videos from God knows when, and you participate whenever you're told to, and at the end you fill in a feedback form, and you know, you'll say anything to get back onto the autobahn or the freeway, whatever it is, you know, and you get your certificate. That's the worst case scenario for me in any program. You go right through the other end of the spectrum, and this is where Safe Step sits, because it's unique in that you never have a program where you have a maximum of 20 people on it and 5 or 6 coaches, facilitators, specialists in their field all attending. It just doesn't happen. The ratio doesn't work. The economics doesn't work. We need to make money out of it. It's not about that. What you've got is a unique perspective where you've got yourself, Jennet. You've got Klaus. Even if we just stayed with those two, we've got some phenomenal knowledge and experience in there. Add in Rasmus, who's got that you know, the edge of being able to seen it in GE and land it and make it sustainable. You've got myself, you've got Ian, who are real, you know, cultural performance operational experts that can come in as consultants and do what we've done over the years. And you've got Andreas that then starts to bring it home in terms of personal challenge, personal strength, personal transformation that says, let's hold that mirror up. Instead of just going on a program about somebody else, let's have a look at you. What is it that you're prepared to change and do differently about yourself, and go through that journey before you start as a leader to really, you know, get anybody else to do anything in terms of change and transformation. And then underpinning all of that, you've got Peter, who brings in that data and artificial intelligence, cutting edge thought processing around actually, and how do we know that this works? And how do we pinpoint where to look next? And what is it that the data is telling us in terms of what's working well and what could we do differently? There is no other program that looks like this. I know, because I've looked for them. I wanted to join them. I wanted to be a part of it. There isn't one.
Yeah, absolutely. And maybe we could have also said that we're quite an international team. Andreas, a Greek health and sports scientist, Klaus, a Dan, a senior executive in EHS specifically. Jennet, you from Poland, like owner of multiple risk management schools, and Peter. Yes, what we haven't mentioned is he's not only an IT and data analytics manager, but he also came up with a program called MATE, which is basically artificial intelligence, not only able to scan through multiple different incident reports, but also predicting in the future where to look for. So stuff that your data currently isn't telling you. So it's all of those things that he can bring into this. And then, of course, Tony, Ian, two Brits, executive level consulting. And that basically also brings me to how we met. It's like it was two completely different cultures clashing together there. It was, as mentioned, it was a German, it was a Brit. I'm technical, very lean focused, process focused, standards, and then Tony and Ian came in with human operational performance. We all had the same goal, or we still have, and that's basically creating a safe, high performance work environment for others. Also, is sustainable culture change. How do we reach that? What do we need to do to implement that? I can only highlight the importance of creating a coaching network within the company, stuff like that. And then basically creating a culture where it's easy to do the right thing, where it's actually easy to do the right thing. And that's very unique, I'd say. The mix of specialities plus cultural differences that we bring into this program.
Do you know, it's really interesting, and Jennet, you know, we met in Hamburg, and I think it's fair to say this, but please tell me any differently, is that we have cultural differences, we have lots of different knowledge and background, and come from very different points of view, you know, and yet that commonality of two things actually. One is a passion and a desire to make a difference in this field, right? Second to none, in terms of all of us, just without even questioning it, we have that. The second piece is we actually had a bit of fun together. The reality is, even in this situation of something so high risk and making such a difference, the reality is, you know, you've got to enjoy what you're doing, and you've got to make it enjoyable for anybody who attends. If anybody thinks this is going to be line after line of text, or, you know, chalk and talk or PowerPoint, forget it. We're going to do some stuff that is going to blow your socks off.
Yeah, it's just amazing, because like Andreas is gonna you know, for sure it's gonna be full of physical exercises as well. So it's gonna be walks, and I don't know what he's preparing. Maybe, I don't know, pumps, heavy lifts. I don't know. I'm really excited myself. It's going to be about holistic health as well. It's about the habits. It's like all of us, whenever we think about the future, we also talk about our health. But there's another thing that Tony and Rasmus, listening to you mentioned several times the word transformation. And I think that that's an interesting word, because it's not a change, it's a transformation. So what kind of transformation we're talking about during our masterclass? Is it individual, business, operational? What we're talking about? What do you mean by transformation?
Yes, it is. It's exactly that, Jennet. It's transformation. Before, my definition of transformation is something that's deemed near on impossible. Otherwise, it's just change, incremental improvement of what you've already got. If you want to transform, you are, you know, you're taking one thing and you're making it completely different to what it was before, which, you know, it can be deemed nigh on impossible. Being able to do that at an individual level, it's got to start at individual level. If you don't make change, if you don't transform, if you don't know the pain and the journey to do that, to do something that's deemed as hard to impossible, then how are you ever going to take anybody else through that?
Tony, remember Andreas? Sorry for interrupting you. Just a quick joke. Andre, it's about suffering. It's about pain. Remember that?
Yeah. As a people person, I'm less about the pain and the suffering, but I know where Andreas is a professional who takes somebody, and turns them into Adonis. I say, in terms of transformation impossible, if he can do that with me, I'm really up for it. Let's do this. But individually, that's I think that journey that everybody has to, that 66 days of change to do that. At a business and organizational level, if you can do that, and if you can start to adopt other people into that methodology, that mentality, that mindset, then all of a sudden, small change times many creates transformation. And I think that's that ability to do that. What do you think, Rasmus?
No, absolutely. And you both, you nailed it. We have Andreas on board, and we do physical exercise, but for a reason. So what we do is basically we create a vision. We create what does good look like for you, because it may be different for any of us. And just like you said, becoming a donor might not be the goal of whomever is in the training. But we all know this. We all have this after New Year's, when we say, I want to start a healthier lifestyle. I want to lose weight. I want to do stuff like that. And we all experienced probably the bungee rope that pulled us back into reality, normality, the old habits. And that's also the reason why the masterclass isn't just a training. It isn't just like the 10% of here's the training, off you go. It's really a longer period of coaching. Of course, there's a training bit. We sit in the class, we go outside. We are in a nice location in Hamburg, actually. It's the Steigenberger Hotel, and that offers a lot of varieties of rooms, of outside activities, of stuff like that. So it's a holistic program, but also it guides the people over the upcoming month, basically. So I think that is quite unique. And just like Tony said, if at the end of this journey you haven't managed to change, or you have managed to change, you know exactly what's the pain points. You know exactly what triggers to pull in your company, in your team, wherever you bring this to life. And that's just one small piece of it. It's really, there's a coaching bit to it, where we meet weekly. Even after the masterclass, we still guide them. We have weekly meetings where we all meet and exchange. Mm-hmm. There's a networking piece of it. So it is very different. And I want to end this statement with the PowerPoint bit that you mentioned earlier, Jennet. Yes, there will be not much of PowerPoints going on. Some topics, of course, they rely on it, and there might be here and there some live demos, but yeah, it's not expected to be a classroom PowerPoint.
And at the end of the day, we talk about the modules. This is a 6-month program, and exactly. Actually 6 months of intensity in terms of help, support, stimulus, coaching. Once you get us, you can't let us go. We won't let you. But it's an opportunity to actually go on a how often do we really get to just stop and take some time out to think about self? Daniel Goleman talks about this all the time, that if you really want to make a change, if you really want to be the best leader that you can be in whatever field it is, you've got to be more self-aware and look at self and hold the mirror up. And this is that sort of unique opportunity over 6 months to do that. And certainly, just on your point on PowerPoints, well, I won't be using many. And in fact, if I was to suggest, there'll be some ropes, there'll be some oranges, there'll be some eggs, and we'll do some stuff. And what I'll do is take away all the operational knowledge and experience that you have, and what remains in the tasks that we do together will be about leadership, communication, teamwork, and creating a culture to succeed. And let's see how we get on when we do that. That's the magic of it.
I think there's one more piece. It's about learning and sharing within the groups. So it's not only coaches. I believe that a lot of learning happens, at least in my risk management schools. I keep telling my students that you need to share between yourselves, because we will have a lot of participants coming from different backgrounds, from different companies, different countries. And I think that that's going to be what we do. We just create an environment. We create a safe environment, safe place, beautiful place, by the way, a very nice place. It's with the lake, golf club around, where you can just walk. Socrates method. We can discuss heated discussions, calm discussions. It's a place where we can reset.
Yes.
Ourselves, I believe, and also share that learning between ourselves.
And what great environment that's not only open, honest, and authentic, but actually where like-minded individuals, leaders within their own, whatever industries that they're in, can help each other. There's nothing better than peer-to-peer coaching. Organizations and teams don't do anywhere near enough of it, because the human element of me being a little bit more, knowledgeable than you, and knowledge is power and all the rest of it, kind of gets in the way. What we want is people to actually share their war story, their learnings, their journeys that as they go through this, to a point where the coaches can back off, and the learning comes from within the cohort.
Yeah. But I think it's also important to mention that if it comes to transformation question, then correct me if I'm wrong, we discussed that every participant will set his own goals and objectives.
Yeah, absolutely. So before, when you sign up to this, before you get anywhere and before we start with anything, whoever it is, he or she will be asked to start to think about what's your own personal goal to do this. As I say, if you want to go through change, if you really want to be a change expert, if you want to take that and transform whatever organization that you're within, the first point of call is self. And so you hold up the mirror and say, actually, where am I and where can I be in my own personal development? Whether it's physical, whether it's mental, whatever that might be, will help you create that gap and that goal. And the more the transformation, the better.
Oh, we've got the question, gentlemen. Yeah.
Absolutely. So yes, the masterclass is specifically pointed to quality and EHS specialist. Basically, that can be a professional, it can be a team leader, it can also be a very senior person, because it combines just what we said: the networking, the experience sharing, but it also provides like basic knowledge from step one. For example, like how do people drive change, understanding human error, questioning techniques, listening from empty, stuff like that, review techniques, and we have a lot of that. So basically, you cannot really say it has to be an executive EHS person. I don't know, Tony, maybe you can.
Hey, do you know what? First of all, Robin, thank you for asking a question. That means actually somebody's watching and listening, so that's great. Secondly, you know what? We're only allowing 20 people on per program every 6 months, so we're looking for people who will get the biggest bang for the buck in terms of development, not only for themselves but for the organizations that they represent as well. And so whether it's an individual who happens to be a fantastic knowledge worker, but could create quite an impact in their field, whether it's Q&EHS or in something else, or the most senior executive who actually has the remit to create change or owns the risk, anywhere there in between we'll be looking at. What we want is somebody who really wants, the 20 participants, people who really want to take on a transformation for themselves and for the business and the organization that they're working within. Because at the end of the day, the reason that we're doing this, the reason I get really passionate about this, is at the end of what we did and where Rasmus and I worked together, we made a hell of a difference. We made a commercial difference in the millions of dollars, but we also made a difference to individuals and people's lives, because injuries and serious injuries went down, fatalities went down significantly. So the people that can have an impact on creating a culture like that, they're the people that we want.
Absolutely. And Klaus just answered it also in the chat. I saw that of course it's for employees, and we even had people signing up like their small team. So basically sending a small team into our masterclass of basically I think it was a group of 3 or 4 that got signed up there or signed themselves up. So that's not limited to a specific group.
Yeah, coming back to that one, I guess it's important that we talk about the managers and the workers, but it can be anyone who is struggling with the change, someone who needs some support. So it can be even a person who is unemployed currently, but he would like to see some transformation. He's stuck. He's in that stage of stagnation. So it can be actually anyone who is struggling as well, or someone who is looking for a better networking, because I think it's also important that we are a very multidisciplinary team. So, and that anyone who is looking for someone who is in the stage of searching, for instance, they can also join the class. The second question, Tony, there was a second question, am I right?
Well, I just got another one from Robin, but we also got from Paulina. Main topics covered. So we'll talk about personal change and transformation. We'll also talk about the data and the AI and the mechanisms to monitor and measure. We'll talk about the methodologies within human organizational performance and culture to make change. So there's a significant amount of things in there around culture journeys, around review methodologies, around change and transformation, to name but a few. So there's lots to go at, and obviously Rasmus in terms of lean and how do we actually make it sustainable, which kind of leads on to my best segue possible to Robin's question about accident stats. Look, at the end of the day, accident stats are critical, but you've also got the commercial element to it as well, Robin, in terms of commercial success. What you start to look at is then the monetized element of off work, off duty, at work, on duty, sick days, leave days. If we've got people that are well and they've gone through their own personal journey and are choosing, and their mindset, behavior, attitude is different, if they're more engaged and more trustful of the team around them and the organization, you can then start to look at the stats, and we have that as well, where you can run into millions by the lost opportunity of days off, sickness days, not turning in, injury days, whatever that looks like. If you could have a significant shift on that and make it sustainable through that culture of performance and removal of complacency, that's how you make it sustainable, and that's how you can monetize some of those measures. Hopefully that's one example. I don't know if Rasmus, you've got some more on that.
Well, and speaking to that, there is also interesting topics like how do you link quality and EHS to finance, which is a big topic, and many people say because what's the value that you as an EHS professional create other than obviously keeping people safe, but how do you actually link that into the balance sheet? How do you make this interesting for financial people? Because that's basically also where you get a lot of support from. How do you manage effective teams? How do you build high-performing teams, basically? The whole topic around quality assurance, there's a lot of stuff. And if you want to know more, you can go on safesteps24.com. And if you scroll down to the masterclass, you can click the sign in button, and there it'll guide you to PDF files, which basically have the whole training program, the training plan, the content plan. It has everything, all the details. So definitely check that out. That's safesteps24.com. And I think
you see, he talks about lean, but he's also into marketing as well. That was an excellent piece there.
Well, that's not what I wanted, but I think it's better to check it out there in more detail, you know.
Yeah, the whole element around the trinity of what we're aiming at and how we do it. All of the coaches and more information about the next program are all on there. So he's absolutely right. I know I make fun of him, but it's actually true. safesteps24.com is the place to go.
And I think there was another question about how do you measure success. So I'm not sure in what way it was meant, but if it's your personal success as a participant in this class, that's exactly what Tony mentioned earlier. That's the very first thing that we do. What does good look like? And basically, what's the steps to get there? How can we measure that? We will definitely develop this, and this has to be individual because there's many people from different countries and different organizations. They might not have all the same KPIs and all the same goals. So that one is a very individual thing, I'd say, that we definitely do at the beginning of this masterclass with each participant.
Yeah. First of all, thank you so much for answering those questions. I believe that measuring the success is very interesting. We also have a dedicated topic during the masterclass where we talk about the measurement. And I think it's important to mention that Klaus will take care of that topic related to the financial performance. But at the end of the day, I think that it's all up to us how we measure success individual at the business level and operational level. But definitely, I would agree with Robin. It's not only about the stats and it's not only about the lagging indicators. So we will go beyond that for sure. Coming back to the topic of to Paulina's question, Tony covered most of the topics, but this class is not only for those who are operational. Though we do cover risk management, we do cover sustainability partially. We talk about anti-fragility, we talk about the emerging risks. We talk about Rasmus, that's your topic about the culture. But there's a new topic if it comes to this type of classes, health, individual and holistic health. And that's going to be a very interesting add-in into the program that we need to cover. But again, it's not going to be the classes, as Tony mentioned. It's going to be discussions, and it's going to be the workshop. It's going to be about creating and not only executing. So thank you, Tony, Rasmus. Is there anything else I'm missing? There's anything else we need to cover today?
Well, we give some room for also the upcoming discussions that you'll have with the others. So yeah, for example, for health topics, Andreas definitely is the better person to go to than one of us. So yeah, no, I think
speak for yourself, Rasmus.
When we get together, it's so much fun, guys. You should join our class. Really, it's going to be so much fun. Yes, just looking forward, guys. We're going to have a live with Peter. That's going to be a fun one. Peter about AI and data analysis, and I love talking to Peter. So you cannot miss that live. And then we're going to have a meeting with Andreas. You definitely cannot miss that piece. It's about the individual health and motivation, and he's going to talk about individual struggles, but with regards to the positive outcomes. And just one more time, Rasmus, is that www.safesteps24.com? Am I right?
Exactly.
Yeah.
And there, as mentioned, there you can find the module plan, the team details, who is who, what have they done in the past, what's their expertise, the course content, all of that will be answered there. And as I mentioned, I think the next masterclass that we'll give is starting in May. And I'm not sure when the sign-up process is being closed, might even be April. So I'd definitely go ahead and sign up if that's of interest, or else basically contact us directly if you need more information. If you have some questions, no problem. But yes, it is safesteps24.com to go to your question.
And also we'll try to put the details under the live in the comments, so you will have an access directly. So thank you so much, Tony. First of all, I'd like, Klaus, look at that. This is the teamwork. Yes, this is teamwork. Thank you, Klaus. We can always rely on you. We always have you. We feel you. So thank you very much. I'm really sorry once again for being late due to emergency I had today. Rasmus, I'm so happy to see you. Tony, happy to see you again. Remember, you can find us on our LinkedIn profiles, on our website. Join the masterclass. Stay tuned. More to come. And have a nice evening everyone. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Thanks, Jennet. Thanks, Rasmus. Good to see you again. And thanks, everybody, for listening in.
Thank you.
Likewise. Bye, everyone.
Could you stay, guys, in the room?